Hello. Today I want to talk about some self-regulation techniques that you can start to use in your day-to-day life. And these are important because we need to be able to create calm in our stressful moments. So we can't always escape stressful situations and go to a yoga class or go have a bath or something like that. So it's important to be able to use self-regulation techniques to create calm in the body that can also create calm in the brain. This is done through the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is one of the only nerves in the body that communicates in both directions. So the brain to the body and the body back to the brain. So this tells us that if we can create calm in the body, we can create also more calm in the mind. So there are 4 self-regulation techniques that I want to go through, and they are diaphragmatic breathing, yawning as a form of self-regulation and stimulating the vagus nerve, softening the gaze, and pelvic floor relaxation. So diaphragmatic breathing is one that we are typically more familiar with, and this is breathing deeper into the body instead of just into the chest. So typically we're breathing into our chest all day long, and if you can bring your hands to your belly and start to feel your stomach move up and down as you breathe, that means that we are better oxygenating the body and we are creating some calm because the diaphragm is pushing down and helping to create a little bit more intra-abdominal pressure, it's called. So if you can feel your belly moving, if you bring your hands to your sides and can feel your sides moving, that means that you are doing it right and taking deeper breaths, which stimulates the vagus nerve and tells the brain that it can be a little more calm. There's also yawning. So there is a part of the back of our mouth called the soft palate. If you bring your tongue up to the top of your mouth and all the way as far back as you can, that part all the way up there where it's like hard and then it turns into some soft where you can feel with your tongue. So the soft palate, if we can raise that up, that directly puts pressure onto the vagus nerve and creates a sense of calm, putting us into our parasympathetic state. So singers are actually trained to do this. And when you sing the letter R or say the letter R, your soft palate kind of naturally goes up in the back of the mouth. So you can try that out and see if you notice that any tension is relieving either from the jaw or the mouth, and the rest of the body will start to become calm, and it can stimulate a yawn. So if you notice in animals, for example, so dogs, if you ever notice dogs when they get like really, really hyped up, sometimes they'll start to yawn. Or kids sometimes as well. So this is something like if we are in a stressful situation, we're breathing a little bit shallower, you can just press the back of your tongue back up into the soft palate of your mouth. It might stimulate a yawn, so maybe not the best one to do in a business meeting, but if you're in some sort of potentially stressful situation, this one could be helpful. Softening your gaze is the next self-regulation technique. And this is because when we get stressed out and are really in our fight or flight state, our parasympathetic state, we can get tunnel vision. So you can hear of people that are on the brink of having an anxiety attack or are feeling extremely stressed out, that they'll start to recalibrate and recalculate, and everything just starts to narrow in. And in a lot of stories that I hear with people, they'll get that tunnel vision if they're in an extremely high stress scenario. So something that you can start to do because these are evolutionary things that have developed, there is probably a reason for tunnel vision if you are in, let's say, a physical setting where you need to be really focused. But let's go back to the business meeting, where if you are having a confrontation, let's say with your boss, you don't necessarily need to have tunnel vision, and no one will know that you're doing this technique in order to regulate your emotions and yourself. So focusing on whatever you need to be focusing on in front of you, just start to take note of what's in your peripheral vision. Bring your awareness to the sides while still looking at what you are supposed to be looking at. This is a way that you can start to soften the vision, soften the gaze, and another way that tells the vagus nerve that it's okay to be calm right now. The last one is relaxing your pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor, if you feel like the bony parts of your hips in the front of your body, and then take your hands under your bum and feel, they're called your sit bones in yoga sometimes, but like the 2 bony parts of your bum. These 4 parts are the pelvic girdle. And the pelvic girdle is where the vagus nerve ends. And this is where a lot of tension is kept if people are stressed out and carry a lot of tension in their body. Everything sort of tenses up, like around the abdomen, And this is where we carry a lot of stress. So if you can tense a muscle, that means you can also relax that same muscle. So tensing up your pelvic floor or bearing down, this is something that it could be a technique to go either way. Like if you're really stressed out, bear down first. So create a lot of pressure and tension in the pelvic floor, and then release and relax, and then try to take it one step further for relaxation. So try to breathe into that space. Try to take an extra couple of breaths, and it's so much easier to find relaxation after you've created tension in that space, which is this, the same type of idea as when people do full body tension and relaxation exercises, like where you are really like balling up your hands into fists, and then you relax, and then you can feel what true relaxation feels like afterwards. So the same kind of technique goes with pelvic floor relaxation. And this gets at the bottom of the vagus nerve, which sends that signal up to the brain that you can be calm. So these are 4 self-regulation techniques that you can start to use today. I love them because you can do them anywhere, and they only take a couple of minutes, and you can practice them at any time. There's plenty of stress in all of our days that you can start to apply these in your day-to-day life. Or if you want to practice more specifically, you can pull up a chair next to a friend that you trust. This is an exercise that I also really love because it's difficult to do, and it kind of you'll be forced to try out one of these techniques. So bring your chairs close together, look into each other's eyes, and set a timer for 2 minutes, and try not to break your gaze. And you'll have to apply some of these things because it's a forced, awkward position, and you'll have to go through one or more of these self-regulation techniques to see if you can bring your body and your mind back to a state of calm. So try that out, let me know how it goes, and message me if you have any questions.